Now, right, we're live, everyone.
Woo! Hi!
Hello. Alright, so I am Random Ross at Random Horror, and I've got with me Dice Rolling and Sierra Hall.
Hi!
So this is hour 22 on this live stream. So apologies for the slight delay because I was having some technical difficulties, but it should all be working all right now. So yes. The subject I chose to talk about was Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
And I got another subject, anthology and horror, but Universal Monsters.
Good old classics.
Of
yes.
course. Recognizable faces,
Yes. So, what ones have you seen?
Not as many as I should, I imagine. I've seen Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and pieces of The Mummy, but not all of it throughout.
Pretty much all I've seen then, except for I've seen the whole of The Mummy. Yeah. What about you, Sierra?
Yeah, about the same list. I grew up on The Mummy, was one of my all-time favorite movies as a kid.
Yeah. The Mummy, speaking of that, the 2016 reboot, that was meant to be the start of the Dark Universe.
I still wish that they would start that up. I know that they've had some difficulties with that, a few movies that weren't so great, but I still want to see that whole universe.
Yeah, I want to see that too, because we're in a era of like movie franchises.
Yeah.
And cinematic universes. I mean, the giant monster universe is just about taking off with Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
We have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DCEU, if that's still going on. And I think they should try and give the Dark Universe another go.
It sounded like they had some good ideas behind it too. Like Angelina Jolie playing the bride, I would have been on board for that.
Yeah, and Javier Bardem as the monster.
Yeah.
I liked Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, that sounded interesting too.
Yeah.
I've been dying to see Guillermo del Toro do a Frankenstein movie forever, so.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. And they can still do it. It's just...
Yeah.
I think they're being a bit careful now since the whole disaster with The Mummy.
Yeah.
But just leave Tom Cruise out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom Cruise out of it. But there are a lot of good Easter eggs in that film. There's one where you see a vampire skull, and another one where you see like the Gill man's arm in a jar.
Oh yeah, there were quite a few good call-outs there.
And another one with the book from the Brendan Fraser film.
Yes.
Great. So there could be some connections there, but that I don't know. Yes. I also thought, was Dracula Untold meant to be like the start of some dark universe?
I think that was initially the first start at it, but then it didn't do particularly well, so they decided to restart it again with The Mummy.
Yeah.
And then that didn't do well.
So hopefully they'll restart it again with something else.
I don't know, maybe the Wolfman again. Yeah. Another film that had like all the Universal monsters, well, the most memorable ones were Van Helsing.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Hugh
that one
Jackman.
gets a bit of shit, but it can be entertaining.
Yeah. I remember going to see that in the pictures when I was 13. And I remember enjoying it. I saw it with school. Uh, yes. And yeah, but of course, looking at the old ones, what do you think there's one controversial scene in the original Frankenstein where the monster throws a little girl in the lake. And that scene got cut.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, it got cut when it first came out.
How come?
Because for the 30s it was considered apparently too graphic and too distressing. I mean, they did put it back in the film 30 years later, but at the time when it came out, they just took that bit out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm doing a video on freaks right now, so what the 30s considered appropriate is just ridiculous to me.
I know. Yeah, I've seen that, Freaks. Yeah.
I think another like bit from the original Frankenstein that they cut out, I think, was when Dr. Frankenstein says, "Well, now I know what it's like to be God."
Oh yeah.
They figured, that'll really upset some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, in the film he's called Henry Frankenstein. In the book he's called Victor.
Well, we just need to make sure that people know the difference between Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster.
Yes, Frankenstein is the mad scientist. The monster is called the monster or the creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took, I don't know how long it took Boris Karloff to get in all that makeup, but apparently he would sit in that makeup for 16 to 18 hours a day in the hot LA sun. And, back then the actors didn't really get a say in that thing, makeup.
Yeah. I think he even would just go to bed wearing it so he didn't have to put it on the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, because back then it was either you do the film or you're fired.
Yep.
And, and Lon Chaney as well, back in the silent films, he always applied his own makeup.
Yeah.
And when he did the Phantom of the Opera, apparently he was in an uncomfortable state.
I can see that.
With the nasal things he put up his nose.
There's a lot of fishing wire involved.
Yeah,
and
fishing wire, yeah. Yeah, you can still find Lon Chaney's face in the Universal Archives. Like the sculpt he used for his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really influential makeup artistry for the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And those films are almost 100 years old now.
Yeah.
And they're still being talked about and watched today.
Yeah, they're iconic faces, so to speak.
Yeah. And again, Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. That must have been a bit of a farce with the whole transformation scene, like having to film it and then cut, and then to the part where he was fully transformed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine that must have been quite hard having to.
A lot of patience is required.
Yeah. But nowadays it's all CGI, like the 2010 remake.
Yeah.
I think the Wolfman looks a lot better in the 2010 film.
Yeah, I like both, but if you had to go down to which do you like because of nostalgia or practicality, still a tough decision.
Yeah. And another person that was like sort of a regular in the Universal monster films was Bela Lugosi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was Dracula, and then he was Igor in Frankenstein,
Yeah.
and then he was a gypsy in the Wolfman.
Didn't he also like play Frankenstein at least once?
I think he did.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I
Yeah.
think it was Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Yeah,
Maybe?
I think it was. Yeah.
Nobody
I
who's a
heard-
huge
yeah.
Universal fan, kill me, please. Thank you.
Yeah, they did those old crossover films too, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Bela Lugosi actually got typecast as Dracula in the end and started just doing theatre shows.
Yeah.
And when he died, he got buried in his Dracula cape.
Yeah.
In fact, he, I think he started to think he was Dracula.
Hey, why not?
He even had a castle built. And his
He had the
very own,
castle built?
yeah, he had his very own castle built.
That's amazing.
And now
I'm
Johnny
jealous.
Depp lives in it. Johnny Depp lives
Goals.
there now. Susan's asking in the chat, what time is it for me? It's coming on 10:30 at night. Susan.
About 3:30 over here. It's
Yeah.
daylight. Oh.
Yeah, it's just gone dark over here. Yeah. Now, what are your thoughts like on Universal Monsters with like the films and such?
Well, I don't think they're as bad as some people mention. I know a lot of people say that they don't like to watch them because they're black and white. They're not, I guess, by today's standards, that impressive. But if you really think about it and you really watch it and pay attention to them, then I'd say they are. They're very impressive for their own time. I think a lot
They're
of the
classics.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
they're classic. I mean, how you can't call yourself a horror fan if you've never seen Frankenstein?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the black and white tone works because, even in the parody, Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder, they chose to do that in black and white.
Yeah.
And Frankenweenie as well, which is clearly inspired by Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That too was done in black and white. So I think the black and white elements work in that.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I
it's
also like.
It's an important part of horror history.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it helped to shape horror today, so.
Yeah, it's like Universal Studios, they have like, on one of the filming locations of Frankenstein, they have like a bronze statue of Boris Karloff as the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have any of you seen that film, Monster Squad?
I haven't yet.
That's
I
got all
haven't
the
seen it, but
Universal
I've looked stuff
monsters.
up.
That's got all the Universal monsters in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
all led
Oh,
by
yes.
Dracula.
There's a couple. A couple. Mhm. There's actually a surprising number of movies that have the classic monsters involved. Monster Squad, of course. There was. I don't know if anybody else saw this, but there was a movie, an animated movie in the early 2000s called Monster Mash.
Oh yeah.
And that
Sounds
one had
familiar.
all of them. Yeah, it was, to me as a kid, of course, it was like, what is this? But of course, as I got older, it's like, okay, this is a little nostalgia piece. That's nice. Okay.
Well, that's one of the great things about the Universal monsters is that we're all familiar with them to some extent.
Even if you've never seen the movies, yeah, you know what
Exactly.
Frankenstein looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just part of our culture at this point.
Even kids today can get in on them with Scooby Doo
Yeah.
and Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another great way to like remember all of the classics.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like Universal Monsters, I like to consider The Thing, like from the original and John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
So that's all done by Universal. And Jaws, the shark. I consider that like a Universal monster as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think they're honorary monsters for the Universal world.
Yeah.
Not part of the original group, like with Dracula or Frankenstein or anything, but they are definitely, again, just as important to horror history. Made a huge impact on culture.
Yeah. And Trash Picture said King Kong. Was that you? Yeah. Yeah, that was Universal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I agree with that.
My Pet Monster. 13 Past Midnight. He's like saying, ever seen Mad Monster Party?
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I think it rings a bell. I don't think I've seen it though. Dave Maggot says Jason, Freddy, Leatherface, Michael. Well,
I don't think any of those are Universal.
Well, the first Halloween film was done by Universal.
Okay.
First Halloween film. Freddy, he's New Line, and Jason, he's Paramount.
Yeah.
Now, Ben Grimm's mentioned one, Nosferatu. That was actually meant to be... That film actually was originally meant to be destroyed and scrapped. Because Bram Stoker's widower, it's like... Because, the rights still belong to, like, the Stoker family.
Yeah.
She, ordered that film to be destroyed, but there were some people out there that actually stopped it, that actually kept it. And, well, it's still around today.
Yep.
And they even did that film with John Malkovich, Shadow of a Vampire. First time I saw Nosferatu was in an episode of SpongeBob.
Just say he pops
oh my
up
god, I remember that episode.
Yeah. So another subject that I thought we could talk about is like anthology.
No.
Horror anthologies.
Those are fun. They can be. Anyway, some.
That's like,
personally, I like Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of others.
Creep Show.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can't leave out Creep Show.
Holidays.
Ah.
I don't think I've seen that one. Oh wait, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that short with the I thought the Easter short was a bit weird and creepy.
Yeah, that one was interesting. And great makeup.
Yeah, Mutant Bunny Jesus.
Yeah.
And then St. Patrick's Day.
What was that short? I can't remember that one.
With the snake.
Okay, I think I remember.
Birth to the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said they should do a sequel where they have other holidays. Like over here in November, we have 2 nights called Mischief Night and Bonfire Night. They could always do a sequel where they have those 2 holidays in there.
Yeah.
Bonfire Night, we celebrate Guy Fawkes if he did destroy the Houses of Parliament. And Mischief Night is like the night he planned it. And that's usually the only night of the year where we can pull tricks on other people, jokes.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
I can see some promise in making a little horror short or something from that.
Yeah.
Just gotta be creative.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to do an anthology based off of holidays and do all of the Sabbats.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would certainly be interesting to me.
Yeah. What? Also, anthology is kind of on the small screen as well. The first anthology stuff I got into was Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah, Goosebumps was my
I mean,
childhood.
That's all child friendly. I used to be scared of Goosebumps. I used to find Goosebumps scary, but Are You Afraid of the Dark? I didn't mind.
Yeah,
And my sister was scared of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and she liked Goosebumps. Yeah.
It depends on one's temperament, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah, one episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I thought was a bit like for a kids' anthology horror show, was The Tale of the Dead Man's Float,
Ah, yes.
the swimming pool. I thought that looks pretty disturbing for a kids' horror series.
I
Because
don't think I remember that one.
it was in the swimming pool, there was that ghostly skeleton that was all red.
Yeah, rotting skeleton thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was like buried underneath the swimming pool.
Good place to have a swimming pool. Good planning, everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of like having houses on top of an ancient Indian burial ground. Good idea.
Yeah, and then there's others like Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, we only ever have the animated series over here. I don't ever remember the live action series.
I missed
I
out
remember-
on a lot, to be honest.
You
Because
can watch
Yeah.
a lot of the Tales from the Crypt on YouTube now. I didn't
Don't
say
tell
that,
YouTube.
but
Same with Are You Afraid of the Dark? You can watch all like that on YouTube.
nice.
I've got the whole set. Haha.
And then there's American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The next season is going to be 1984.
I'm so excited for the next season. I'm not up to date,
Yeah.
but I'm so excited for the next season.
Well, it's not going to have Sarah Paulson or Evan Peters.
I heard about Evan Peters. I didn't hear about Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, she's not going to be in it.
That's a
It's still
shame.
gonna have Emma Roberts though, and up to now, Kathy Bates. I've not heard out about her being in it or out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love the trailer though. The trailer made it look like it's going to be great. I'm a huge fan of slashers, so nice to see
Yeah.
that come back.
yeah, and my favorite season is probably Asylum and Freak Show.
Yeah.
I like Twisty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've only
Twisty
really
was-
seen the first one and the third one. I like the
I think-
third one.
Which one was the third one again?
Ah, the Coven.
Coven.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that one was good.
And then last season, Apocalypse was a crossover of Coven and Murder House.
Yeah. I was hearing about that.
I still need to see that season. I think Freak Show was the last season that I saw.
Yeah, I tried to give Hotel a chance, but I just couldn't get into that one.
I watched.
Oh.
I know I've seen a couple episodes of Hotel because I remember seeing all of the like real life serial killers.
Mm.
Yeah,
Always a good gateway.
Yeah.
Another television series. Again, I don't know. I seem to find the weird stuff that's a little off the wall. But there was another series that used to be on that was kind of in the same vein as Tales from the Crypt and all that, called Monsters. I don't know
Yeah.
how well everybody else knows about that.
I'm not familiar with that one. What was it about?
No, I don't think I am.
Well, everybody always remembers it as the one that had the opening of this monster family, like a Cyclops dad and all that, sitting down to watch their favorite show, and it goes into monsters, and it was a different story for each episode. It was kind of interesting. I think there was one, if I can remember correctly. There was a traveling salesman or something who broke down, had to go to this nearby house, and he sees a woman singing and dancing in her window upstairs or something. And along through this episode, the family tenant takes care of him, and he gets to know this woman that he originally saw, and then he finds out that she's actually dead, and she kills him. I think.
Interesting.
Very rough idea of what that was. So,
Yeah.
Hang on,
Sounds
were it on
fun.
Disney Channel?
Disney Channel? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's it. Let me see. Gotta find this now. If I can spell it correctly.
Joe, Halloween was originally meant to be an anthology series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the third one has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the series.
Yeah. Yeah, but if
People
that did
miss
take
Michael
off,
Myers.
if that did take off as an anthology series, then Halloween 4 was originally meant to follow straight on from where 3 ended.
Oh yeah.
But
It would have been interesting to see them turn it into an anthology series. But I am also glad that I live in a universe where Michael Myers is as popular as he is.
yeah, Michael Myers. In the first film, it's like William Shatner's face. In the in the fifth film, I liked it, he kind of looks like Tom Hiddleston in Halloween 5.
I think I can see that.
Yeah, with
His
Well,
mask transforms too much throughout the series. The first movie was the best mask.
yeah.
I found the intro. There you go.
Yeah.
I believe, anyway. I think it looked familiar.
Right.
It was essentially anything that came on around lunchtime that I thought looked interesting. I'd be like, "Yeah, let's watch that. Sure, why not?"
I'm pretty sure that this was just a Canadian show. I'm not entirely sure, but there was a show that I used to watch when I was a kid that had, I can't even remember what it was called, but it was a horror anthology series that was a maggot and a cockroach, I think it was, gathered in a movie theater. And they would discuss horror stories together. And every single episode would start with, "It happened to a friend of mine." Can't remember anything more than that, but I used to love that anthology series as a kid.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. That sounds interesting.
It might have just been a Canadian thing. I'm not sure.
Would be a lot of interesting things come from Canada.
Oh yeah,
if anyone knows the show, like, leave it in the live stream. I'm curious to, or the chat. I'm curious to know if they know the title.
Someone find the answers quickly.
Yeah, Tales of the Dark Side. I've seen that. They still Horror Miser Monty G's just posted Tales from the Dark Side, which was produced by George A. Romero.
That's a great one too. Freaky Stories. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
They still show that on the Horror Channel over here. Rerun it, Tales from the Dark Side. And they've also rerun Friday the 13th, the series.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with Jason.
But they're going to use it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you know, just going back to Michael Myers' mask, why it's changed so much over the years, is because when they found out it was a Captain Kirk mask, the Star Trek people and Don Post started to want credit for it, and if they didn't, they'd threaten to sue. So that's why they had to change Michael's mask.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Freddy's Nightmare. Sean Ursh's just mentioned that.
That's a great show too.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of a series talking about some of it every once in a while on my channel.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, I like sort of do like an anthology sort of story narration on my channel.
Yeah.
Every month. It's called the Iron Phantom's Black Book. It's like I put on this mask and become this character called the Iron Phantom because I do a lot of crazy characters on this channel.
Yeah.
And I just posted one yesterday of the Iron Phantom's Black Book, and and a lot of them are all short stories that I've wrote and stories that I've heard in the past and I've like sort of done my own spin on it. But Gory B, she watched one yesterday and said she never knew I did that, and she says I got a creepy voice for it.
I can see that. It's amazing how people say, "My God, your voice is terrifying," can be compliment here. It's fantastic.
I mean, I've seen some of your horror narrations on your channel.
I try.
Yeah.
Oh, so Sean mentioned also Night Gallery. That's another one.
Yeah.
That's one my
Night Gallery.
parents like to watch. What's another one? I know there's another one they like to watch. What is it? Kochek?
Kochek.
That's
I
all
don't
I'm
know
coming
that
up with. He's like a reporter, I guess. I mean, it's an older series, but he's a reporter and he investigates all these different supernatural things. Like there was a werewolf on a cruise ship at some point. So I forget what the name is. Somebody must know. Someone in the chat here must know. Because I don't. The Night Stalker. Thank you, Monty. That's it.
Darling Darkness mentioned Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, Black Mirror.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I can see that more sci-fi.
Yeah, there are some episodes that aren't super horror episodes, but it's a great show anyway.
Yeah, I've watched all that on Netflix.
Yeah,
It used to be on Channel 4. The first two series were on Channel 4, and then Netflix bought it. What other anthologies are there?
Oh, Penny Dreadful.
Oh, yeah.
Just Comey Keebler's brought that one up.
Yeah,
it's not really an anthology, but
yeah,
it had Universal Monsters.
Yeah, that was a great one because that had Dorian Gray in it too, and you rarely see that one.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that one. She-Wolf of London, posted. Yeah, I remember watching reruns of that She-Wolf of London.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, there's the Twilight Zone as well. That's anthology.
Of course.
How did we not think of that one before?
All right, everybody, revoke your horror cards quick.
The Outer Limits. Yeah.
There's a few smaller ones I think some people don't really know about, or I don't. Just miscellaneous things.
There are so many.
How many times have they redone the Twilight Zone?
So many times.
Yeah, they recently brought it back with Jordan Peele.
Has that one started already? I need to watch that.
I think so, yeah. There are a couple episodes in.
I watched the first episode of that and I just thought, oh, this is slow, and I just not got around to watching the others.
I need to watch that. I love Jordan Peele, so.
Yeah. Yeah, he's made a big change from comedy to horror.
I feel like it's a fairly easy change. I'm not going to say easy, but it's not as huge of a change as you would think because, as someone pointed out to me when he first made the change, both genres rely on timing quite a bit. So
yeah, and
so it makes sense.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. Some people would agree, some people wouldn't, or didn't realize it, but. In my mind, as I've gone through this horror journey, I have found that horror and comedy are way more interlinked than people may realize.
Oh yeah, probably my favorite subgenre would be horror comedies.
Yeah. Speaking of like changing genres from like one to horror, you guys recently watched the Banana Splits trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
remember watching that on Cartoon Network, like reruns on Cartoon Network, and I'm interested to see that one. with banana splits.
If nothing else, I think it'll be entertaining in some
Yeah.
way. So maybe not in the way that the people who made it intended, but could still work somehow.
Well, my parents were like, no, they can't do that. They can't, because they said they used to watch it on
Don't
Saturday
destroy our
mornings.
childhood.
They said, well, I mean, they might do it with like, I don't know, like Teletubbies. They might remake that as a horror.
They're already scary though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they need to remake that as a horror.
There
Yeah,
is
or-
actually a game about horror and Teletubbies called Slender Tubbies.
Yeah.
It's an
That's
old one.
amazing.
It's terrifying.
I love it already.
It's just I would watch people play that and go, ooh, okay. Glad I didn't grow up on a lot of Teletubbies. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, what if they brought the Tweedies back as horror? Have you seen the Tweedies?
No, I don't know that one.
No, it must have just been over here then.
No, wait till they get their hands on Barney.
Yeah. Barney.
That one's just waiting for someone to come along and
Yeah.
make it horror.
Yes, Barney.
I know there's creepypastas about them, but
Oh yeah.
we don't have a movie.
Yes, creepypastas. Yeah, I like creepypastas. How they've they're like Squidward's Suicide.
Oh
There's one
yeah.
of the classics. Yes.
Squidward's Suicide. I like Abandoned by Disney. I found that unsettling.
That was one of the first ones that I discovered. I did not know what creepypastas were. I
No,
really
I
didn't.
didn't. I didn't. The first time I heard of creepypastas was on Watch Mojo. They did a top 10 list of creepypastas. I thought, what's creepypasta? Then I started looking into it, thinking, wow, these are all
And
good.
down the rabbit hole we go.
Yeah.
And then that's where I found Mr. Creepypasta, who does good narration videos on creepypastas.
Yeah.
I thought creepypastas were real when I first read them. So Abandoned by
too.
Disney was one. So it's cool. We're gonna
Yeah.
not sleep for a while. That's cool.
Abandoned by Disney, I think, is inspired by the real abandoned park, River Country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mowgli's Island.
Yeah,
Something
Mowgli's
like that?
Palace.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And then the ending, Photo Negative Mickey. Hey, want to see my head come off? And they're talking about in the chat creepypastas, Channel Zero. Yeah, that was a good one. Sonic.exe.
Yes, another classic one. Jeff the Killer.
Jeff the Killer.
Oh yeah, Jeff the Killer.
That was another fun one.
Yeah. For like Slenderman.
Slenderman's a classic.
Yeah, they could
Yeah.
make Slenderman. Yeah, but I didn't like the film from last year.
I have not seen it,
was-
but I've not heard good things.
Same.
No, it's boring and it's
Yeah.
dark and it's
That's
hard
it.
to see him.
Oh, good.
The only good part about that film is Slenderman, and it's a shame because you can't really see him.
Slenderman is a cool design. Like just visually speaking, he looks cool. So I
Yeah.
imagine that it wouldn't be too hard for a movie to make him look cool.
One would like to
Yeah,
think.
I have heard about that one, the Russian sleep experiment. That they're working on a film about that one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's another
I'd
good one.
See a movie about that.
yes. Yeah, but I think the ones that I found also unsettling are the ones that could happen, like 1999,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mr. Bear, and Lightning. Have you seen that? Read that one, Lightning?
I think I've heard it at some point, but I've kind of forgotten.
Oh, that one. I didn't find it scary, but then then the ending, the big twist, I like had a chill down my spine, thinking, "Well, that is creepy."
What's it about?
It's about this single father who moves in, to this house with his son. On the first night they're there, a big lightning storm happens, and then the next night, the kid tells his dad that he saw the lightning again, and he keeps saying to his dad, "I keep seeing the lightning every night." And then one day when they're having breakfast, the father reads in the newspaper that there's a local predator on the loose taking photos of children while they sleep.
Yeah.
And then the man asks his kid, has he seen the lightning by his window? And the boy says no. But then he says it was in his closet this time.
I think I have read that
creepy.
one.
And I thought, whoa, that is creepy.
Yeah.
Lightning in the closet. It's actually a pedophile.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's worse than lightning.
Yeah, I prefer lightning in my closet. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's 1999 with Mr. Bear.
Yeah.
There's No End House as well. Oh, we got Dino on the chat as well from the Late Horror Show.
Hi, Dino.
Well, we're just about. It's just
3
about
minutes.
3 minutes. So
Oh wow.
yeah, we best wrap this one up then. So this has been hour 22 of the Creepy Channel Crawl, and I want to thank Dice Rowland and Sierra Hall for joining me in this hour. We got off to a bit of a late start because
technical difficulties.
Yeah, but it's been great. So I'm going to get the end roll up now for the next channel who's up. It's the Mummy and the Monkey. So it all continues there next. So let's get the end roll up. Because no one will hear it then. Where can I put that for you now? Here it is. Just as it's loading. Good.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest
Right.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest channels on YouTube. Next up is the Mummy and the...
Let's try that again.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest channels on YouTube. Next up is The Mummy and the Monkey. Click on the link in the description and continue the crawl. And for the full schedule, check out the Creepy Channel Crawl page on HorrorAddictsTV.com.
Yes, we did it! And it didn't buffer this time. Okay,
That was
so
fun.
go across there for the next hour. So, this is it then. So, see ya.
See ya.
So they're starting right now.